The next game up is Auburn versus Alabama. Obviously, one of the three biggest games in college football as a rivalry game. Definitely excited to watch it. When you see this line, it's pretty crazy. Auburn is only, getting 11.5 points. And I know it just happened, but 11.5 points on the road. So you're basically looking at, if this was on a neutral field, we're talking 8.5 points here between these two teams. If you would have told someone that a week ago, you would have got laughed out of the room. And then the over-under here is 52. Tyler, what do you think about this game?
Well, the Iron Bowl, the saying of, oh, you could just throw the records out of the way, and that's how good the game is. That's the Iron Bowl for you. The records just don't matter. Just forget about it. Army, Navy's another one. The biggest rivalry, to Big Ten fans is the game, Michigan versus Ohio State. However, I will say this, the records do kind of matter because when one team's bad, the other team usually blows them out. Just being honest, you're going to see that this Saturday. Michigan 6-5, Ohio State's 10-1. Ohio State's going to beat them really bad. That's not the case with this game. Auburn and Alabama are very, very close almost every single year. It's just the difference is Auburn hasn't beaten Alabama in Tuscaloosa since Cam Newton. And boy, that game was just amazing. They were down 24-7, ended up winning that game 28-27 on the road. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I think Peyton Thorne's actually playing his best ball right now. He had a pretty solid game against Texas A&M. Had one dumb turnover. Well, actually, I think he also had a fumble. So two pretty dumb turnovers there. Didn't cost him the game, though. He went down and gave his team a chance to win, and then they do win that game, which was an amazing game for both teams. I know A&M lost, which was a huge loss, but Auburn may have found something, especially with this receiving core. Cam Coleman came to play, Lambert Smith as well, and then obviously Jarquez Hunter on the receiving and the rushing game. The key to this is, does Alabama just quit? Does Alabama just say, forget it, our season's over, we lost to Oklahoma, who cares? If they're on that, Auburn will win this game. This is the hardest game to predict, in my opinion. I know it's a rivalry game, but if you've been hearing these Alabama fans, they're pretty much on give-up mode. So I really can't pick this game. I'm going to go Alabama winning the game. I'm going to take Auburn to cover. Again, 11 points is a weird number. It's a number I like to stay away from if you ever bet. 11-9, those are the two red flags for me. I'm going to take Alabama to win the game. I'm going to give them the credit is due. I think it's a lower scoring game, though, probably 27-20. But I got Auburn covering. But the key to this game is Alabama here to play, or are they just on give-up mode? So, and I really hope they're there to play. If Alabama plays their best ball, they win this game by 30 points. But I just don't know, especially with what I'm seeing on social media. And then, again, we saw after the Vanderbilt game, they almost lost South Carolina. So I don't know. This is the biggest I don't know game of the weekend.
Well, you said if they care, they'll win by 30. We've seen Alabama care and get beat by Oklahoma by 21 points. So they're just completely an up and down team. You don't know who shows up week to week. And like you pointed out, most of the year, that's just a Kalen DeBoer type of theme from them. And that's what made Nick Saban so special. No matter the opponent, they played to a certain level. Now, did they always play an A-plus game? No, but I think the worst I ever saw him play was like a B-plus game in like real weather. The USF game I'm going to throw out. That was in a freaking monsoon. I remember watching that game. So I'm not saying that game, but for most of his time, you saw maybe a fluctuation of a letter grade from B to an A, but that's really it. Like Kalen DeBoer from week to week, you can go from your A game to your D game to your F game. It's crazy how badly they fluctuate. And I think a lot of it has to do with matchups too. If you can stop Jalen Milroe and the QB power, QB sweep, QB counter, run game type of stuff, you can beat Alabama. If you force him in the pocket and make him purely a pocket passer, he can't do that. Now, can he throw the football? Yes, absolutely can. He's made slight progressions in that. But has he made like these world progressions where he's back there looking like Peyton Manning? Absolutely not. He's nowhere near that. I don't think he's ever going to be near that. And that's the thing too. Auburn has a pretty good team overall. You and I have talked about their record doesn't reflect how good they are. Like in reality, they're probably more like an 8-3 type of team or 7-4 type of team. And there just aren't that with the record wise, but that's what the stats will tell you. And that's what your eyes tell you when you watch them. They're still a pretty damn good football team. They just make key mistakes in key moments. And if they're able to stop the run like they have most of the season, honestly, they did a decent job versus A&M last week. I think they can stay in this game and beat Alabama. And if they beat Alabama, we're going to see a complete collapse from Alabama. I mean, their fans are already going crazy. If you think it's bad now, lose to Auburn in back-to-back weeks, make them bowl eligible. You would have made Oklahoma and Auburn bowl eligible in the same season when they basically had no hope to become bowl eligible. So that'd be a really bad look for Kalen DeBoer. I do believe Alabama wins this football game. I think they show up enough. And I think Auburn's – listen, you've shown it to me once. You won't make the key mistake. Do it again. You haven't all year. You've done it 90% of the time. I think you're going to do it again. So I'm going to take Alabama to win this football game. I think they win the game 27-21. I think it's a close football game. So I'm going to take Auburn to cover, but I'm going to take Alabama to win, and I'm going to take the under here as well. I like the under in most of these games just because fierce rivalry games other than the South Carolina-Clemson one. Because I think, honestly, that's an obvious under, and if you're betting, never take the obvious number because, Vegas is trying to bait you into it. But I think Alabama does not cover here. I think Auburn does, and I think Alabama does win and prevents the hellscape that they would create by losing this football game. But I think it's going to be a fun football game to watch.
Yeah, and you also made the point of they gave Oklahoma and you said and potentially Auburn the bowl game. Well, they did that to Vanderbilt too, which is another funny thing too. It's going to be Vanderbilt's first time going to a bowl game since I think it was 2018 or 2017, something like that. So, yeah, but the fans are already against Kalen DeBoer. I don't know I know there's going to be a lot of people who know what I'm talking about, but on the Paul Feinbaum show, they had an Alabama call in, and oh my goodness, I think it was. I don't know if it was scripted, but it was definitely chopped up, and you could tell the audio was edited. But anyway, it was 3 minutes of an Alabama fan just ranting and telling everybody he's done. He's done with the season. He's just on to basketball. Just get him some basketball tickets, whatever. And that's what I'm worried about, though, for Alabama. And this is a big game for their future. And if Kalen DeBoer comes in and just lays an egg at home, not only are you going to hear the boo birds, but you might hear a little bit worse things coming up soon for Alabama. So, but me and you, we're going to give Alabama the benefit of the doubt because that's kind of what Alabama's program has deserved. And me and you have done this multiple times, even when they've lost. I mean, I took Alabama over Tennessee. They lost. We both took Alabama over Oklahoma last week. And in fact, I think we both took Alabama in the points. So, boy, yeah, again, we're gonna take Alabama here, but it's mainly because of the benefit of the doubt. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think I actually did take Oklahoma, but it was by half a point. Okay. But I guaranteed the one thing I said, I was confident. I said slam the under, which I did believe hit pretty easily. Yeah. Because I was just like, I don't think either of these teams offensively are very good, honestly. And that's what I said, is slam the under, and that hit easily. But yeah, that game was just infuriating to watch for an Alabama fan. But I know Oklahoma has good defense, but to score 3 points, I mean, that's pathetic.